Hi, kun je mij horen? Wendy is de eerste vandaag. 7 people registered, so hopefully we will be having a group chat today. Sorry, jongen. Okay, good topic, Wendy. Thanks. Let's see what we can. You know what I'm going to try is just to invite you on screen as well. Let's see if that works. It's just the two of us, so let's just check it out. If you're getting a message and it's not working, then just type it in the chat. And if you can accepting and connecting. Cool. Let's see. I hope the connection is going to work, because then we can have a little chat about your topic first, giving everybody else time to join us, or maybe if they're going to watch the replay, that's also fine, but then it's nice that we go back and forth and record this together. I have beautiful helmet hair because I was riding until just 1 hour ago. But hey, that's part of our Sunday, hopefully. I guess it's the best day to go on a ride. I hope everybody gets to spend time with their horse today, or already got to spend time with their horse. On Sunday, we can do it hopefully a bit more relaxed because we have more time. And then if the sun is shining as it was here today, then everything is working out. So, Wendy, I still see connecting. I'm not sure if something is not working on your end, or I believe once you see yourself on the screen, that's just a preview of your video, of your webcam, and then you have to go live to enter the room with me. Hmm. Our little experiment is not really working out, I think. Um, I think I'm going to remove this. Oh, now she's not even live anymore. Okay. Ah, beautiful technology, but a strong internet connection is very much needed, I guess. Um, I think it wasn't working. Please let me know in the chat. Or if you want to try it again, but if the internet is not very fast, then maybe that's just the reason why you couldn't join in. Connection is bad. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, sorry. Well, we did a little experiment, and the answer of the internet was no. So it doesn't matter. Um, for your topic of dealing with your own emotions as having tension or frustration related to horse training, it's always important to first, before we jump to some kind of advice or this is what you should do, to get rid of that emotion, it's always very important to analyze where that emotion is coming from, because that can be very different for everybody. And if you get tense or frustrated because you care about other people's opinions, then that is something else than if you get tense and frustrated because you are actually scared. So you want to do something with your horse. But when it's not working, you kind of get scared and you don't maybe want to admit it to yourself. And then you get frustrated and the emotion turns up as frustrated. But the emotion behind that is usually something that has to do with accepting something about ourselves. So if something makes you tense or frustrated, then think about what you believe that that situation means about you, like in your belief system, in every thought that you have about yourself, about how things should be going, everything that you believe about your horse, everything you believe about your relationship together and your training and how it's going. If something happens that makes you tense or frustrated, ask yourself, okay, what does this mean about me? Or what do I believe that this means about me? Or what is the emotion behind this first emotion that I feel? So, is there something when you think back about a certain situation that you could share with us in the chat? Um, is there something that you're thinking about? Is there something that you're now relating to, like, ooh, probably for me it's this or it's that, or I gave it a meaning about our training, I gave it a meaning about me, or it has to do with what others think, and even that gives us the belief a meaning about ourselves, like we are not good enough, or we are not far ahead enough, or you know, sometimes if we are really trying to do the best thing we can for our horses and be like really modern in our approach, that we are not just going for the performance but also getting a lot of horsemanship in there and really building a strong relationship, then maybe other people should look up to us, that we have a perfect relationship with our horse. And if something doesn't go that way, then oh. Yeah. Yeah, if you had a bad fall and you hurt your back, then it's a very visceral, like nervous system reaction to alert you again for a situation where that could happen again. So how fear really works is that it wants to protect us. That's, I mean, it's useful in that sense. And the funny thing is, it also sometimes is totally in the way and makes it worse and makes the situation more dangerous, actually, because when you are in fear or you have fear in the background that makes you frustrated, you tense up and you're using your energy in a direction where you do not want to use it. So you're spilling your energy on, you know, holding on or controlling or forcing something to happen. And behind that, for you on a deeper level, it's the fear. So what I would say that would help in this situation is the moment you step on the horse, you are already in that danger of falling off. So it's not that when something happens or it goes badly that you are only in danger of falling off. Riding is a difficult sport and it's a dangerous sport. And as soon as you step on, you're basically already not on the ground. So you are already having a certain probability percentage that you could fall off. So that danger is always there. And I think if you realize that, and maybe consciously you can choose that you accept that risk, and if it gets too high, the fear, if it gets too much and you really cannot handle it, then you decide to step off instead of getting into that frustrated state with the underlying fear and maybe making it worse because you are using your energy in a more negative way. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat if that works for you or if you want to know more about this. So this approach of really thinking about what is behind it, and then basically being conscious of the fact that you are accepting to undertake a dangerous activity, no matter what you will be doing. Right. And you know that there are also moments that you are on your horse, you have the chance of falling off, and you're not frustrated or tense. So it is possible to accept the dangerous sport of riding and do it and enjoy it and have fun and enjoy beautiful moments. But realize that in those times, you are as much on a horse and as far away from the ground as in those times where it's not really going well. So when you feel the tension come up, when you feel frustrated, then take a break, take a moment to think, and have a little chat with your nervous system brain, let's say. Have a little chat with the scared part of your system that is giving you the alarm. Okay, we have to do something about this situation. It has to change fast now. And make a decision. Like, no, okay, the fear is there, and have it heard. Do not ignore it or suppress it or just ride through the fear. You have to do something with it. You can accept it, and continue your ride, maybe adapt what you are doing. But you cannot, let's say, suppress it or misjudge it for I'm frustrated. Then you have to really, oh, wait a minute, I'm getting tense because the fear is coming up again. Let's take a moment, let's pause, let's breathe, and see if I want to accept to continue, or for today I change my plan. Because if you keep going over the fear threshold and you just continue riding, it will probably not come up less and less. It will probably, if your alarm system is triggering you and you're ignoring it, then it will every time become louder and louder and louder, because it still wants to be heard. It's still trying to protect your physical body from any deadly consequences, basically. So if you're not listening to it, then you will have more fear. So you have to be accepting that fact, and then every time have a conversation with it and adapt your approach. But not just okay, I'm frustrated and I want to continue and I have to get through this and I have to push more. Because then you will have it more often. And every time if you recognize it correctly, like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not frustrated, I'm not angry, but I am scared to fall off, scared of other people's opinions, scared of something else happening. Then the moment you pinpoint it correctly, you will also you will choose a different approach to solve it. So your actions after pinpointing what it is will be different. If you're frustrated, and you're also frustrated about that you become frustrated, like, oh, I know I need to have patience when I'm training, and now I'm frustrated and impatient and I want it to work, and now I'm even more angry at myself because I know I have to be patient. So you're in a vicious circle, downward spiral, let's say. And but if in that same moment you don't call it frustrated, but oh, wait a minute, I'm getting scared now, then you do something to get out of that, and then you're in a more positive spiral and you can get yourself out of it and maybe continue. So if it's jumping, maybe you jump a bit lower or you do something more complicated. Yeah, exactly. So Wendy is saying she accepts the risk now that she could fall off again, but the fear is still not always gone. Well, that's really, really natural. That's really not a thing to be frustrated about. So be gentle with yourself. Of course, the bigger the fall or the bigger the consequences were, the longer it takes to really have that fear go down again. And basically, the fear has its reason. It has its rights. It has already been shown that the danger is real. So don't maybe also don't expect it to go away completely. Maybe that's also not a natural feeling, not right now at least. I mean, as we get older, this also changes. So in my neighborhood, for example, I see young girls riding around on, well, the horses are sweet, but they are still horses and not the best trained horses, just like somewhere on a farm they keep some horses here, and the young girls they ride them, but it's not, it's not really like trained and classical and with lessons. They just take the horses out, they ride through the forest, and then they do their thing, but in a very like young person with standard horse type of deal, like not sport horses or something like that that really train in lessons for competitions, but just your average horse with a young girl, and then they're riding with a halter, no saddle, and they just canter through the forest like crazy. Like it's almost dangerous for people with dogs and other other people on foot just walking there enjoying a peaceful Sunday, and then they come around the corner and do all the things that I would have done at that age. So I also used to go out and not think about what could go wrong, but just take the horse out, see a long sand path, and just hit the gas and say go. And now, after some decades of more experience of what what could happen on the other end, we get a little bit more cautious. So from when we are children until we age, maybe we are still riding when we are 80 or 90. I hope so. But it's just a fact that we will be more scared in those days than we were when we were riding as crazy, crazy ponies without saddle through the forest in 10 or maybe age of 15. So yeah, don't expect your fear to go completely away, but listen to it when the level starts to rise and try to bring it down again. And then you get in this state where you have the feeling that you can manage it in the way that you are a good parent for yourself. Your children also, you want them to do something that is a little bit scary and exciting, but you don't want to put them in real danger. So that's the same game you would then have to play with yourself. So Wendy is sharing that the last month she did one step back and then relaxed, and then did one jump, I guess, a little lower or slower, and then it's working. So yeah, exactly. Cool. Is there anything else you would like me to share about this topic, or that you would like to share about it? Let me know. Otherwise, I will start to share some ideas for things to do with young horses. And I know Wendy can also give us some ideas about that. I guess that's a typo. Oh, that it is hard. Okay, yeah. That's why I said be gentle with yourself. It is hard. Yeah. And we are in a difficult sport. It will become more difficult and harder as we grow older, and we want to become better and better. And on the other side, it's becoming more and more difficult the further you come. So, yeah. Brains are hard, I know, but brains are also very fascinating, that they can keep changing and evolving. So it's not like a fixed setting. You can really train your brain to new experiences and having new preferred reactions, let's say. But this primal brain, like from our prehistoric brain, where the fear lives, that is less, that's less trainable or changeable. It will always protect you, and we should be happy for that, because if we would not have that part of our brain, we would also just jump out of the second floor of our house. Maybe if we see a pretty bird, we would just walk up the roof and then do all kinds of crazy stuff. So Be happy for your fears. I'm on a course for that. Train my brain. Wow, that's really cool. I look forward to hearing more about that. Very helpful. Cool. That's amazing. Yeah. Um, and the mental part, our own mental health and mental coaching is also very, very important in every sport, but very underutilized in the equestrian world. So it's very common that in other sports people have a mental coach, um, and helps them to cope with the pressure of competitions, or maybe the fear, like if we have people that do athletics and they work on great heights or on a small beam, all those kinds of things. People that had injuries before, it's really normal for athletes that work with only themselves and their own body to have a mental coach, because they understand that their body and their brain are basically the tools they are using to perform in their sport. And in our sport, equestrians, they believe they have to train their horse. So that our body, and with that, our brain, is the only tool that makes it even possible to train our horse. That's really something only of the last few years that people are more interested about. Like, not, of course, we always said, like, okay, our horses pick up on our emotions and a rider should not be fearful and blah, blah, blah. Like how it should be, everybody knows that. But really taking on a mental coach as a rider, I don't know anybody personally, like in my friends and group of people I know, that has specifically a mental coach for riding. So that, I think, is something that our equestrian world can really benefit from in the coming years. So the top athletes are picking up on that, how important it is for the best performance to also get your brain trained. Yeah. So let us know in a while how that's going, Wendy. It's a really interesting topic. So via email, Paulo shared with me that he would like to hear a little bit more about training young horses. And especially the thought of, okay, let them just be horses until they are old enough, versus already training a 1-year-old or 1.5-year-old horse. So one thing that is very important to realize in this is that a young horse learns from day one. So it's not like our babies and toddlers that we need a few years of development and then we can go to school and learn things and, retain information and learn from our own experiences. So the experimenting of a young child that only starts, after a long time, a horse has to do that immediately after being born. They already have to try and stand up. They already have to try and walk. They have to, stand to be able to drink the first milk. So there are many things that the young horse is taking up as information. And is experiencing and immediately learning from its own experiences. And in the first few years, they are really exploring and learning what it is to be in a herd and what it all means and how all the other horses communicate. They don't wait a few years and then learn how to speak like we do. It's immediate. It's from the beginning. They learn to interpret the signs from the other horses. They learn to give signs themselves. And of course, because they speak with body language, it's important to learn those cues really fast, and also not get kicked by a horse just because you got too close. They learn to recognize signals very, very quickly. So if you would let the horses be horses, just in a herd together out in the field, and they would not have many interactions with humans, then typically a 3-year-old horse that is taken out of that field, out of that herd to be trained by people, they react very instinctively. They react like a wild horse would. And maybe they are more trainable, so those reactions go away sooner than with a wild horse, maybe, depending on their character. But it's still a lot of change and stress and new situations and communication with humans they have never seen before. So the first reaction will be, whoa, what are you doing? I need to be careful here. So the big advantage that we have if we start working with the horses when they are younger is that they are still in a more open state of mind, open state of learning. They are more curious and they have less fear because a young horse needs to go explore and experience things. So just like a puppy or a young cat or whatever young animal, you always think like, oh gosh, no, don't go there, or don't fall off, or don't jump up so high. It's dangerous. They just do it because they don't have that fear yet. So when you work with a 1-year-old horse, it's not as scared. And it's also not as big and as strong as a 3-year-old horse. So if you have a big, strong, fearful 3-year-old, you're just years behind, and it will take you much more time and effort. Of course, they are really smart and they learn fast and everything like that. But I have always seen that the process of training a horse to become a riding horse is much more natural and easy and like one big non-event if you have already done a lot of work with them from younger age. So as a full or 1-year-old or 2-year-old, the sooner you can start, actually, it's the better. So in horse development, we always cover 3 areas: relationship, understanding, and biomechanics. What I would leave out is the physical aspect. So if you're training with a horse that is younger than 3, just leave out the physical aspects. Do not try to train the biomechanics of movement, let's say. Don't work a young horse on a circle too much. Of course, you can send them around you one time, but I would not lunge a 2-year-old horse. It's just they are really in development. A lot of their growth plates in the bones have not finished growing out and hardening. So working on a circle is already a big challenge for the horse's body. They are not really made to do that. So it really takes a lot of training and force, muscle development to do it correctly. So that is something that is really not important with the young horse, and it will actually make it worse for you in a later stage because it's the most boring thing to do anyway, to send a horse on a circle. So I would just leave that out. But what you can focus on is building your relationship, and especially building their understanding of our human world. So what are all the crazy things that a horse needs to do once we start riding? First of all, it needs to be held by the head with a halter, a lead rope, a bridle, with something pulling or pushing on their head. They need to understand what that means, and that you want them to follow that feeling, that you want them to come with you when you take the head over, that the rest of their body should follow in that direction. I mean, that's not natural for a horse. And why would they have to learn that once they are 3 or 4 if they can learn that in the stages that they are so adaptable and so smart about collecting new information about how the world works? So a very important thing for young horses is to learn to walk with us and to lead properly. Second thing, once we have the horse, we want to brush it somewhere. And most of the time we tie it so that it doesn't walk away when we are doing all the grooming. So teach that horse that it is normal to be attached with its head to something. If it's just one ring or a cross tie, if that baby horse learns it when he's one, it will never be a problem anymore in the rest of his life. I mean, I have horses that cannot be tied because they just break the halter as soon as they uh, feel that tension behind their head. Their first reaction is like, oh, I'm going away. I cannot have this because I'm totally restricted and this is not normal. They have so much fear, such a brutal reaction to this feeling of being tied. This is every time the halter snaps because they just throw themselves backwards and gone is your halter. So for the rest of their life, you really have to be careful that your farrier or your vet or the dentist or whatever person that might handle your horse for you, that they always know you cannot tie this horse to the wall like any other horse because it won't work. It will cost me another lead rope or halter. So those are the things that are really, really like, yeah, it's just a shame. Like, ah, shit, why didn't anybody take the time just one time per week or maybe two times per week? You would work with a young horse. All the rest of the week, it can be a horse with the herd and everything. You can just leave it be and learn naturally from the other horses. But just take the time to, on a weekly basis, already instill this information in the young horse's brain that this is normal. You can stand tied, and of course, sometimes they will still have a reaction. It's not that they will just go easy and do everything the first time correctly. They will still react like a horse, but they will accept all these new situations much sooner. Yeah, other things that we are really introducing in the young horses are obstacles. So getting to know all the things that we people like to use in an arena to make the training more interesting. They learn how to use their feet over different surfaces. So we let them walk over a tarp. We let them walk over the poles. They get to know all the colorful things that are in the arena. Maybe even go under something, some flag work, scary sounds. So maybe some music, just opening them up to all kinds of experiences. And once they are 3 and you want to start riding, they already know all the 150 things they should ignore and that they should just be looking to your cues and the information that you are giving on the things that we are going to do and how to respond on that. So that is on the emotional level. Try to build a bond with the young horse where he sees you as part of the herd. They don't, of course, they know the difference that you're not a horse, but they build relationships and they don't make a difference between a relationship with another horse and a relationship with you. It's just another dynamic, but the relationship is really important to them, just like with other horses. So if you want to have this feeling that you are a herd of two and that your horse looks to you for guidance, if my horses are scared on the trail ride, they see something, we're not so sure. For example, right now, the water is really high because we had massive rains last week. And there is just a little river close to my house that was completely over flooded. So the water was also in all the fields around that river. Those fields are also lower than where our house stands and where the other farms are built. So there is a lower area. It's really more natural bird nesting area, natural fields, all these kind of things, and it was full with water. And today on my trail ride, I crossed 2 bridges, and normally the little river under the bridge is really peaceful and quiet. And now there was really water still, going at a pretty wild pace, big waves, and the level was much higher, and there was sound under the bridge of this water coming underneath it. And then they stopped to assess the situation. And normally it's like, la 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 la, okay, we've been over this bridge for 100 times, so we're just, walking along. And this time, ooh, something's different. And if in those kinds of situations you would like your horse to just follow your intention, your feeling about it, I talk to them, I remain relaxed, because I know, okay, if you want to look for a minute, that's fine. I know that horses need to, listen to the situation. They smell the situation, and of course, they look also. And in that moment, they might be asking themselves or assessing, what should we do? Should we turn around? Should we walk away? Should we panic and get out of here as soon as we can? And the more emotional connection the horse has with his human, the more they will really turn to us for the guidance, because I really feel that somehow they know and understand that we know more about these situations than they do. I explain to my horse really out loud. I just talk about what's in front of us. I explain, the sound that you're hearing is just more water running under the bridge because there was a lot of rain. So now, it's streaming faster. And it's okay. The water will remain under the bridge and we can go over it. So this really, it might sound really funny, but that's exactly the talk I have in that moment. Speak to both my horses. I have one on a lead rope as a ponying, and my mare, I'm riding her. And I explain that to them. And then I say, let's just try it. And bravely, they step forward and we go over the bridge. And after it, they are really, I think, a bit proud of themselves, because they're like, oh, we did it, we made it. And the second bridge was even more water, even scarier sound. And yeah, that's just something. I think many people would panic in that situation, or think about, oh gosh, what will my horse do? Or, oh gosh, he might get scared or spook, or, oh man, they're going to maybe, turn around, or we're never going to get over. And they are really thinking about all the things that the horse is going to do. But if you have a little baby horse that is 1 year old, and you just go on a walk with him, you have him on the lead rope, and maybe a friend comes along with an experienced horse, and they are they are small, they're not that strong, you can handle them more easily. Maybe you're not so scared of them as a big horse, and you can just show them the world around you, where you are going to expect them to go later on in their life as well. You take them to the forest, you take them on a walk around the barn, you take them everywhere that you would like them to go. Then, I walked kilometers with my gelding, with Kai. I even packed a little bareback pad on his back, and I carried my sweater on it, and maybe I had a bottle of water, and it was just like, yeah, you have this assignment now. We are going to go on a walk, and you're going to carry the things. And later, if you go on a trail ride and he's carrying me, it's like, why would that stress a horse out? Why would that be something difficult or strange or scary? Or, so many riders never go on trail rides with their horse. And it's just, so amazing to do. So I just wish that more time would be put into the education and bonding mentally and emotionally with humans in the young horse stage. Learn them everything they need to know about handling their body, handling their feet, handling them around the stables, that they have to be polite, that we are going to be polite if they respond respectfully, show them that it's fun to be with us, that we can have a nice time in the arena. It's not just going to be work always. Just show them some cool toys and things to play with, make it colorful, make it scary, make it loud, make it I don't know what. And as the sooner you do that, the better your horse will later just be, oh, that's just a sound. Oh, that's just a flag. Oh, and we would just have so much less horses that are stressed during the activities that we want to do with them regularly. So that would be a great help to your next riding horse if you really invest that time up front. Yeah, so I don't know what more to say about that. Don't strain them physically. Let them be horses in that sense, that you just let them move in a natural way. But take the time mentally, emotionally to build that strong connection and make our human world normal for them as soon as you can. Yeah, I think that was everything I wanted to share about that. So, Wendy, it's still just the two of us right now. We have 7 lovely people registered, but I guess they're going to catch the replay. So let me know, do you have any more tips on the topic of working with young horses? Do you have any more questions? Was something unclear? Then we can start wrapping it up for tonight. And we will take Pablo's topic to our next meetup on keeping our horses barefoot. It's also something we can talk about for hours, but I don't want to make this too long for now. So we will have a great topic for next time. So Wendy, do you have anything to add? Maybe a cool tip on young horse training? It's always so funny when people call me and they have like a 3 or 4-year-old horse. Yeah, now it's time he would learn to be ridden. And then we start and it's like, oh gosh, if only they would have done this and this and this sooner, then it doesn't take so much time. Then it's just so natural of you have just this wonderful day where you both feel relaxed and it's like, oh, well, let's try to mount the horse today. And then nothing happens. It's very unspectacular and boring. Start in the first weeks. Yeah, exactly. If that's possible, if you buy the horse from somebody else, then probably you were not there. But if you can, start in the first weeks. So if anybody is here that breeds horses or can work with the breeder of the next horse that they buy, then that's a great tip to do. Yeah, in the first weeks they are like open receiving brain, no preconceptions of the world they are born in, so you can really give them some good experiences in that time. Wendy did that with 2 horses and they are so nice now. Yeah, because then what we consider as normal with the horses, they also enjoy. They also find it normal. So yeah, then they are the greatest partners. They are also maybe a bit like we want to be half human, half horse. Maybe they become a bit half horse, half human. And they also become really, really smart because they know a lot of different things. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Then for everybody that watched this on the replay, you know where to find me through email or on Instagram. Send me a direct message and let me know if this was interesting for you. What was your biggest, what was your favorite topic of tonight? And what you would like to hear next time that we have a online chat about horse development. So good evening, bye bye for now, and see you next time.